So the last video just showed you how to make the flower turtle. We went to setup and we could see our little turtles making a flower. So now let's take a look at some of the tweaking that we can do. Before I tweak a project, I like to remix it. So I'm clicking remix in the upper left corner. And I am going to call this one Playing with Turtles and Motion. And I'm actually going to select this and just hit space to delete it because I've changed it a little bit. So now we're going to go down to the world. Now initially we created 5 turtles that move forward by 1. And again, when you move forward by 1, it's going to look like that. Okay, the setup is there. Again, zooming in, you can see where we're at. I'm going to change that a little bit. I'm going to say move forward by 5. And let's see what happens. I'm going to click Run Code, Setup. See how they're spaced further apart? And now that changes what our flower is going to look like. We still have a flower, but now it's a little bit different. Okay, so that's one of the ways that we can start by changing. You select the changes or make changes in the world, which changes your initial start conditions. I'm going to move mine back to what it was, and let's see what happens if we create 10 turtles. And I do Run Code and Setup. Now think for a minute, what do you think it's going to look like? I'm zooming in. Oops, I guess I zoomed in a little bit too much. We now have our 10 all kind of squished together, and when I click Forever, so that makes a little bit different type of a flower. Reminds me of this fire graph I used to play with when I was a kid. Okay, now we could take that same code, tweak it again, and let's try moving this to 5 apart. Run Code and Setup. Okay, already that looks different. They're not piled on top of each other. And when we click Forever, we have a more open type of flower pattern. Okay, so nice start so far. And I'm going to go back and reset camera and just set these back to what they were originally. And I'm going to show you a couple of other little things you can explore. And you know, this isn't something that everybody's flowers have to look the same. What we're really looking for is for you to understand how the motion works. So the turtle, once we hit forever, or once it's toggled, so once it's on and stays on, the pen is down and moves forward by 1 and right by 15. So that means that when we do our Run Code, Setup, Forever, that's the pattern we get. We can adjust that a little bit. We can say we want to go forward by 1, right by 15, and then if you go back into your movement, you could say I want to go forward by 1 and maybe try left by 15. So what do you think might happen if we move forward to the right and then forward to the left? Let's see what that's going to look like. Run Code, Setup, Forever. Okay, you can't really see it unless you zoom in a little bit, but it's got just a little bit of a zigzag happening. Okay, so if we adjust those numbers and maybe make it 45, let's try the Run Code, Setup, and Forever. We have a more severe zigzag, so it gives it more of a wiggle in the walk. So you can already see how just these little changes can make a big difference. So explore on your own and see what you can come up with.